Hey everybody, it's Paul. Welcome to the channel. Some things that I love and hate about my Pixel 8. Little background, I'm coming from the Samsung S20. I did not pay for the Pixel 8 and I went with AT&T. I traded in my S20, but they would not give me money towards a new Samsung. They would not give me money towards the Apple iPhone that I wanted, 15. But anyway, they would give me the Pixel 8 for free, and that's what I went with because I'm cheap. One thing that's good about the phone is it has a bright screen. In Virginia, during the daytime when you're outside, that's important. Another thing that I use all the time, every single day, that I appreciate, I can set my phone down somewheres and I can be in the garage working. I can leave the phone inside and go out to the garage and be working. I can go from one end of the house to the other end with walls in between, and the earbuds will work. They have adaptive charging on this model, which is nice because they say you don't want to charge these LiPo batteries, above 80%. Really, it really damages them over time. So you can plug this in and not have to set a timer or worry about it getting overcharged. It kind of throttles it down so it keeps around 80% for a long time, so that's a cool feature. And another thing, I guess it's part of getting old, is I really appreciate the sound on this phone. When I'm making calls, I can talk and it comes through the earpiece. Very good. You can turn it way up. You don't have to. It seems like it's got plenty of pedal, so to speak. It's got plenty of punch to get through. And also when you hit on speakerphone, the speakerphone works good. The people can hear me. I can hear people. It's plenty loud. Now the screen unlock on this phone is much better than the S20. Not as good as Ben's iPhone. The technology's different. I guess the iPhone is way better in dim and dark conditions. Ben, he can be in the dark and just barely go even on a severe angle, even wearing a mask, it's like he can always get into his phone. This thing is okay if it's bright, but if it gets dim at all, it will actually say it's too dim, used a finger pad or whatever. In daylight, I never could get the S20 hardly to unlock. This reliably unlocks fairly quickly if there's good lighting, and especially if you're doing a head-on shot, it'll unlock. But if it's dim, you ain't got a chance. If you're on an angle, it's probably 50-50 if it's going to work. I use that feature a lot, so that's kind of like a pet peeve. Not that great. All right, so now we'll get to some of the negatives. I guess everybody gripes about the battery life of their phone. I suppose that's just a thing, but I'm telling you, this doesn't have the battery life of the S20, and it doesn't have the battery life of my old S8. It's sufficient, I suppose. You can get by with it, but if I get in the car, I'm always plugging it in. If I'm around power, I'm always plugging it in. I'm not saying I get it down to 5%, but if it starts getting, 40%, I want to start plugging it in because it seems like it goes down pretty quick. Another thing, even with the screen display, you can't, maybe there's apps I can get, but not intuitively or built in that I can find any way to really distinguish between messages. If somebody leaves you a message on WhatsApp, even my S8, it had a little LED, and you could set red for WhatsApp or blue, for Signal or something or if you got a text. It was really cool. You could differentiate, and then you could see from a bit of a distance, one, if you had a message, and two, what kind of message it was. This, you'll see I have the clock on all the time, big. The only thing I can find is if I do get a message like this, I have the clock, it goes small then. And then it'll put up a tiny, tiny, tiny little icon of where the message is from or whatever. I mean, it's not a huge thing. Like I say, these are finger stick issues. not deal breakers per se, but it's like stuff you run into every single day. I like to be able to see from across the room, oh, hey, I had a message, I didn't hear it, or I was in another room or whatever. And this kind of, not the best. One thing, I use my earbuds, I use my Sony headphones. Sometimes I turn them all the way off. So switching between those and connecting to the wireless, is a pain in the butt. It takes way too long, way too often. And seems like it's really bad if like you're going from using your, say, Sony headphones, then you want to go to the Samsung, and it just takes, it seems like a lifetime sometimes. Sometimes they'll say it can't connect, and then it does connect, but that's one thing if they could work on that as far as the Bluetooth connectivity is too laggy, even on the best of times. I mean, my S20, bam, it would hit, bam, switch, bam, it was right there, and this is just such a dog. It's just annoying. And another thing, connecting to the truck. I've got a 2022 RAM 2500. It does not play good with the truck Wi-Fi. It will connect, but a lot of times it's just not nearly as good as the S20 was. So I can imagine what the latest model Samsung would be, probably just great. This is so laggy on that. It just gets annoying. Sometimes I tell Ben, let's just use your phone. He's got the iPhone. It's just, so there's some things that they're not, huge issues, but they kind of grow to be bigger issues because they are so frequent and so annoying. So those are some of the big issues that I've had after months of using it. I know some people, they make a review, they unbox and they're making a review, first day or two. It's like some of the stuff you just really have to use and use and use, and it really gets on your mind that this doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's a problem. So anyways, I'll show you some pictures. I went over to Maysville, Kentucky to meet up with my daughter. It's about halfway. We went to a dollhouse museum there, and I got some videos. I'll show you some video from the Pixel 8 and some still pictures. So as usual, I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Till next time, we'll see you.